Today in the show we have Minima taking DePIN to Wicrypt to democratize internet access, the two-token governance of M0, Uniswap subdomains on ENS, and so much more. I'm your host, Mauricio Magaldi, and this is Blockdrops, your weekly digest on blockchain for business. These news are not a form of endorsement, sponsorship, or encouragement for consumption and are meant for educational purposes only. In the first drop today, we go back to DePIN, the Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. This is a topic that's been showing up left and right in the news, and there's a lot of activity and also a lot of investment because infrastructure is critical for multiple industries. And having them decentralized in a way that incentives get combined with the physical infrastructure, it's kind of primed for blockchain. So it didn't surprise me to see that Minima, which is a layer 1 blockchain that's mostly focused on DePIN solutions, announced their partnerships with Wicrypt, which is a smart Wi-Fi network which aims to democratize and make internet access cheaper for everyone. So Wicrypt actually makes money, and you make money using Wicrypt if you share your Wi-Fi hotspot. So when you share your Wi-Fi hotspot in the Wicrypt infrastructure or network, you get WNT tokens. It's like you're getting rewarded by sharing your cell phone access. So the way that the partnership is going to work is that Wicrypt will embed Minima nodes into their Wi-Fi routers that will then be able to grant network access to the Minima users. And by running Minima nodes on the Wicrypt routers, meaning the Wicrypt routers become Minima block producers, each router is an active node, which further decentralizes and makes the network infrastructure more resilient, more secure, because you avoid the single point of failure situations. That's why the decentralization is so important. It will also enable the routers from Wicrypt to allow users to participate in the Minima blockchain, which means that now they are not only supporting transaction processing, but also contributing to the distribution and the strength of the blockchain network. It sounds like a match between having a physical infrastructure and then having a digital infrastructure that requires a physical infrastructure to exist, and then retrofeeding the digital incentives into the physical network. So it's a very interesting symbiosis between these two. So both gain from this kind of partnership, the physical network and the decentralized network, both coming together to both benefit each other and both of the user bases. So very, very interesting. According to Hugo Fehler, the co-founder and CEO of Minima, and I quote, "By integrating Minima's fully decentralized blockchain infrastructure with Wicrypt's innovative Wi-Fi network, we're reshaping how digital services are delivered and consumed. This collaboration will make internet access more accessible, affordable, and secure for everyone, as it will decentralize the infrastructure required to provide internet connectivity," end quote. And the CEO of Wicrypt, Ugochukwu Aronu, says that, and I quote, "Our mission has always been to democratize internet access and empower our users. Partnering with Minima extends this vision, bringing a new dimension of security, decentralization, and community participation to our network," end quote. I can't lie. I'm excited about DePIN. I feel that this is one of those emerging trends that are seeing, a 10-year overnight success, right? Blockchains, as you've heard me say 1,000 times, are transactional, decentralized infrastructure, right? It's a massive data coordination engine that is also decentralized. The fact that there is a physical decentralized infrastructure that can bake in a blockchain and reinforce the incentives mechanisms of the blockchain because it aligns with the incentives mechanism of the physical infrastructure and creates this kind of retro-feeding circular economy. It's not to be ignored. And I would hope more industries will take this pattern and take to their particular situation, because I bet that there are greater spaces and greater benefit to be explored in industries that are not already digital. Industries that are highly physical might benefit greatly from having decentralized physical infrastructure networks supporting their digital journeys. I think most of you has already heard me joke about DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organizations. They only have three issues. They're not decentralized, they're not autonomous, and they're not organized. And hopefully M0, with their new TTG, two token governor model, disprove that, and I don't need to make that unfunny joke ever again. So the TTG is a specific governance mechanism for M0, the DeFi stablecoin protocol that's been announced recently. It's led by Luca Prosperi, who's a friend of the show. It's the focus of TTG is to provide simple, straightforward, reliable inputs and progressively decentralize the governance. It's on-chain, immutable, non-upgradable, and the difference that I see on this is that it's a two-token governance model. There's the power token, which is called the management token, and there's the zero token, that's the guardian token. And the protocol runs on epochs with alternating transfer and voting periods to coordinate the governance model. Well, the management token holders are incentivized by earning guardian tokens, and guardian token holders get fees that are generated by the system. So there's three proposal types in the model: standard, a management token threshold proposal, and a guardian token threshold proposal. And these three models are designed to offer flexibility across the whole governance spectrum, from things that are strategic to things that are urgent matters. The one thing that I find incredibly interesting about this model, which was written in an article by the chief architect of M0, Gregory D. Prisco, is that it discourages inactivity. And this is a plague across DAO governances, is that people own the token, but they don't feel that their vote count for anything. So here, if you don't vote, you get diluted. So if you own management, if you hold management tokens, the power tokens, and abstain from voting, you're going to get slashed. Which also means that it prevents larger token holders, the so-called whales, from avoiding their responsibility altogether, like sitting out of a vote. And it addresses the vote participation in a very interesting model. It also minimizes the incentive for delegates. While they seem to allow delegation, that means that if you're actually voting, then the rewards in guardian tokens go to the delegate, not for the delegator, which then kind of creates a situation where, like, if I relinquish my responsibility, I'm not getting any of the rewards by participating in that governance, which again creates a different incentive for people to participate. It also has a corruption prevention mechanisms. There's a guardian token holders act as a second layer with ability to enact as a reset for the model, which ensures that those who primarily benefit from the system actually participate, right? If the guardian token holders are benefited from fees from the protocol, then their participation needs to be taken into account because they're the ultimate beneficiaries, right? It also has a market incentivized delegation mechanism where these management token holders can purchase voting power and are rewarded with guardian tokens, which provides a permanent share of the system residual value, which is very interesting. So this is a very interesting step towards kind of getting DAOs real. I like the dual token. I like that they have very distinct yet complementary mechanism. And I feel that there will be a lot of buzz when this thing actually gets to market. So I'm looking forward to this, because if this is a model that solves DAO participation and some of the DAO behaviors we've seen over the years, this can actually be everywhere. So interesting. Let's see how the model stands. Let's see if it has legs, and let's see who else comes up with interesting governance models that actually govern instead of just being something that is used for pure speculation. In the last drop today, we're going to talk again about UX, right? UX, user experience, is something that we've been advocating a lot in the show in Web3, and we know that there's a lot to go, a lot still to go. But the good news is that there is a lot of activity in this space. This week, Uniswap Labs, the tech team that maintains the Uniswap protocol, announced a uni.eth to allow you to get your unique Web3 username. To explain that a little bit, let's give a little, couple steps back. Back when the internet started, in the old days of the internet, all we had was IP addresses, which was long strings of numbers that you had to remember so you could interact with an internet server somewhere else. Well, that's not friendly to human brains. So the internet founders came up with the DNS, which is the domain name service, which now creates the ability for you to actually have a mnemonic string that you can actually remember to access the websites. That's where the www.xyz.com or .ed or .gov, etc. came up, and our brains thank the internet gods for that. Then in Web3, we have similar addresses. They're called wallet addresses, and they point to a private key infrastructure that someone owns, and that is a specific address in the blockchain. We interact with those addresses with what we call the wallet software, which, for those of you in the Ethereum ecosystem, is stuff like MetaMask. For those in Solana, is something like Phantom, so on and so forth. So every ecosystem has a wide variety of wallet softwares, and all of them can interact with the wallet address that exists on the blockchain. But still, the address is something like 0x and like 256 different alphanumeric numbers, which is not easy to remember. In the Ethereum ecosystem, they launched the ENS, which is the Ethereum name service, where you can actually register to get your mnemonic name. It even allows you to have emojis as part of your name. And you can have things like Uniswap.eth or Blockdrops.eth, and this associates that mnemonic to your actual PKI, your actual wallet address on the blockchain, but it makes much more friendly to interact with because now you have a mnemonic to refer to that. So that is the backstory. Then Uniswap Labs with ENS created uni.eth, which is a domain of Uniswap. But now they're offering a free registration for anyone that interacts with Uniswap's mobile application to actually go and register yourname.uni.eth, which is a subdomain. So you can have, say, blockdrops.uni.eth, mauricio.uni.eth, or yourname.uni.eth, or unicorn sun smile emoji.uni.eth, and you can actually interact that through the Uniswap mobile app, which is very interesting. So a couple of things that kind of makes it a better UX. One, it's a mobile app. The mobile user experience in an application tends to be much more friendly and intuitive than what we've seen in browser extensions for wallets. The second is they're partnering with ENS, and they are abstracting the gas cost, meaning it's free for you if you use the wallet. the Uniswap mobile app to actually register your Uniswap name and associate that with your wallet. And third is obviously the name itself, because it makes it easier for you to interact with everybody else if you have a Uniswap name. So kudos to Uniswap, who's been working a lot in not only in the protocol, we're seeing a lot of progress in the DeFi algorithms, but also investing a lot in UX and investing a lot in bringing people closer to DeFi, which is what we need. We need more people working in the UX. So becoming a DeFi user and maybe a DGen, it's much, much easier. And obviously, none of this is financial advice. Go do your own research. In a week back full of news, here is more. Hong Kong laid out a provisional guidance for the crypto custody services. NFT app Floor partners with Courtyard to issue Pokemon NFT collections. The Oxford Robots Group published a 90-page AI and crypto report. Football club PSG stated that their Web3 journey will start by becoming a validator for the Chilliz Chain. The tokenization sector in Brazil is starting to organize itself and launched their own association, the ABToken. In two news from Circle, they deployed their stablecoin USDC on Celo mainnet and also announced that they're ending support of USDC on the Tron blockchain. Catch us online. We're on Instagram at blockdropspodcast, on Twitter at blockdropspod or 0x Mauricio. We're on Lens at blockdrops.lens. We have a newsletter on LinkedIn. Write to us at blockdropspodcast@gmail.com, and you can listen to the Blockdrops podcast at Spotify, iColab, Faberbun Tech, and all of the other major streaming platforms. Yay! Shoutouts today to the people who share the links you will find in the episode notes. Andrew Begwood, Donald Shua, Chris Mattern, Lex Sokolin, Mohamed Bayumi, Bruno Pessoa, Claudia Mancini, Katie Wheeler, Matheus Morgado, and Luca Prosperi. Don't forget to leave your ratings on your favorite player. This is all for today. Stay rare, stay weird, LFG.